First and Goal 365 brings you the Legacy and Leadership series every Monday at 7 o'clock p.m.
How you doing, everybody? It's your man, Coach Block, and I'm here on the First and Goal 365 podcast, the #1 podcast for player development, both on and off the field. And as you know, we are now in interview 3, where we've been talking to the Marines, and they are #1 sponsor for our First and Goal 365 jamboree that'll be held August 16th at 5 o'clock. So as you've been watching and getting a little bit more about each Marine and each recruiter, the goal of this is to be able to normalize our military. So everybody, doesn't always feel so comfortable and even feel comfortable approaching. I want to make sure that we show another side of those people who are wearing our uniform, because they are human beings as well. And today we have Staff Sergeant Williams, who's going to be joining us on the podcast, and we get a chance to find out the other side of being a Marine. When you take the uniform off and get a little bit of information about who he is and what even caused you to become a Marine. What was your goals in that? So are you ready for that interview right now?
I am.
You good?
Yeah.
All right, good. So take us back to the moment that you decided to become a Marine. Like, what was happening in your life and what pushed you to make that leap?
So for me, it was I was wanting to play football. So football was huge. I'm from Alabama. We play a lot.
Okay. What part of Alabama?
So I'm from Dothan, Alabama.
Okay.
I went to one of the county schools, and it was called Dale County. So,
okay.
Southeastern portion of Alabama. Things didn't go as planned, and my sister had already joined the Marines. But once I got to see her graduate, it was always in the back of my mind.
Okay.
So as soon as I graduated, I knew things wasn't going the way that I planned it should go. So I decided to go ahead and take that step.
Okay.
And go into the Marines.
Okay. Was there anyone that doubted your decision, or did you have to navigate the space by yourself? How did you learn about going to the Marines outside of your sister?
So outside of my sister, I would see the Marine recruiters at my school. So they was very involved. As far as individuals doubting me, it was more so peers of mine making jokes like, why are you going to do that and stuff like that. But I ended up realizing that at the end of the day, it's just going to be me making my own decision. So I decided to go ahead and knock it out.
So when you say knock it out, what part shaped you the most before getting into the uniform? So even when you knew, okay, this was going to be the decision I made, what was that final piece in your mind that shaped you the most to say, I'm making that final push to go ahead and say, this is what I want to do?
I'd say the day I graduated.
Okay.
That day, I realized that I need to make a decision fairly quick.
Okay.
I didn't want to stay in the house. I wanted to go do my own thing.
Okay.
So I ended up, hitting the recruiter back up. I did ghost him like everybody else.
Okay.
I ghosted him, but I ended up hitting him up, and I was like, hey man, I think I'm gonna do it. So it ain't take 48 hours, and I was already set up.
Okay, cool. So how do you define being a leader? Because that's one thing that we talk about in athletics, right? But how do you define that? And then how was it instilled in you once you joined the Marines?
So how I define being a leader is being providing service, right? It's not for you at that point. It's for what you can do for the team, right?
Yes.
What you can do to help them out, help them accomplish the mission. So it's being selfless.
Okay. And what's something that you've learned in the Marines that you think every young person should be able to use in their day-to-day?
I would say resiliency.
Okay.
Resiliency is huge. Whether it's military or civilian life, life ain't gonna stop lifing, no matter who you are. And I feel like everyone needs the willpower to be able to push through whatever obstacle it may be.
Yeah, absolutely. So besides resiliency, what principles do you personally fall back on, mentally and emotionally and even professionally, that the Marines gave you, that you may have not had before you became a Marine?
I would say my core values, honor, courage, and commitment. I would say the biggest part of that is honor and accountability.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Being able to hold yourself accountable.
When you talk to a high school student and the parents, what's one of the biggest misconceptions that you hear a lot about even serving in the military? Not even specifically the Marines, but just being in the military. What's some of the misconceptions that you hear from parents or even, students?
That if you join, you're gonna go to war.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the biggest one.
And you know what? That has been universal. So if you're just tuning in this week, go back and watch the previous two. The number one thing was everybody said the same thing, that the biggest misconception is you immediately think infantry. So if you can explain a little bit why that is such a misconception and what are some of the other nuggets that you can drop where it's not just about war or infantry.
I would say the biggest thing is that it's not all about HBO shows and
Yeah.
TV, what you see there.
Mhm.
And in fact, only about 15% of the Marine Corps jobs is combat related.
Okay.
So I would say the biggest nugget is that
Mhm.
I've been in for almost 15 years.
Mhm.
Haven't seen a day of combat. Now I can't say that would be the case for everybody,
Mhm.
but I can speak from my experience, and I know
Mhm.
there are jobs that don't deploy as rapidly as my job would, or
Right.
whatever the case is.
Mhm.
So
So, what are some of the jobs that may not deploy as rapidly? And what is your actual job current? Oh, before you became a recruiter, what was your job in the Marines?
okay, so some of the different jobs that we have in there is we have finance and accounting,
Mhm.
we have engineering,
Mhm.
we have admin and logistics.
Okay.
My job personally is field artillery.
Okay.
So that's towed artillery. I shoot cannon systems.
Okay.
So that's what I do.
Mhm. Mhm.
I enjoy it.
So now I've heard this now, and you can let me know. Somebody told me that there is a job literally to be a photographer.
Absolutely.
Explain that.
So the photography, right, is called communication and strategy.
Okay.
So what they do is they take images, videos. Uh, they even have an artist, but the artist has to be officer.
Okay.
So he draws pictures, but everyone else is kind of in charge of like marketing and
Okay.
everything that goes into what is put out to the communities.
So you can actually go and use your artist skills if you're an artist. So once again, that's the vast levels of jobs and opportunities that you need to know, that you can learn and find out that you can grow in other aspects inside of our military.
Right.
Yes. Now give us something that is your proudest moment of being a Marine that's outside of your rank. So
Okay.
outside of rank or promotion, what's one of the moments that made this all worth it?
Oh man. So I get a little teary eyed when I talk about this.
All right,
but,
that's all right. We got tissue around here.
all right. So I know we don't talk about rank, but being at the position that I'm in my job, right?
Yeah.
There's points where I'm in charge of, roughly 120 individuals.
Okay.
But being able to see individuals go from 17 years old to become grown adults.
Yeah.
They go from being a kid to being fathers, being parents.
Yeah.
Taking on life, and being a huge part of that, being able to coach them, mentor them through some of their struggles,
Mhm.
and seeing them overcome those obstacles.
Mhm.
That's to me what makes it the most impactful.
Yeah. Good. Good. And so sticking with the recruiting aspect, like because this is we're also having a jamboree.
Yeah.
So what sticks out to you when you're looking at a potential recruit that you can say he would make a good Marine? Like, so for example, in athletics, it's you see somebody's attributes like, he's tall, he's this, he's that, he has certain characteristics, and he would make a good football player at this school, that school. When you're looking at a person, what makes them a good Marine? Like what initially, before you even get a chance to dig deep into who they are, but you can just identify he can do it. What would be those qualities?
Someone who is kind of can accept humility,
Mhm.
someone who allows me the minute to talk to him.
Mhm.
I would say just having a conversation with me
Mhm.
is enough for me to see like, hey, you would be a good Marine.
Yeah.
Just because you didn't know what I wanted, you probably did because I had my uniform on, right?
Right.
But you could have kept walking. You could have did so many other options,
Mhm.
but you stopped and you gave me a minute to talk to you.
Yeah.
So that alone shows me like you have a little bit of respect about yourself, and then
Mhm.
your appearance, you know, how you carry yourself, how you talk,
Yeah.
all these things play a huge factor in whether or not you have the potential to make it through basic training.
Okay. Hey, I'm glad you perfect segue. See, he's getting good. Perfect segue. Next segue is about basic training.
Oh, yes, sir.
So tell us a little bit about, I was gonna say me, but no, it's not just us, but tell us a little bit about basic training and then when it's finished. Because you hear horror stories of what basic training is, but when that moment was over and you accomplished making it through, what did that mean to you to then have your uniform on and be celebrated for making it through basic training?
The first thing that I thought about
Mhm.
was like, I did this.
Yeah.
That was probably the first thing that I did on my own, 100% my effort, my willpower, my dedication,
Mhm.
and to see it all come to fruition, and then know that on the back end, like, these are the doors that I have opened for myself.
Yeah. 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 So then was there a moment that you doubted during the process of basic training?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And how did you push through?
So in the back of my mind, I told you when we first started, my sister, right? So my
Mhm.
sister did it first. So a little story is that I'm the only boy
Okay.
in the family. So
Okay.
I looked up to my sister for everything, but I couldn't let her be the only one. Right?
I know,
I
yeah.
couldn't let her beat me out.
Yeah.
So every time I did want to stop, I was like, okay, I can't let my sister one up me. But then
Mhm.
I would also revert back to my purpose and why I was doing it in the first place.
Yes. Purpose. Yo, you're on it.
All right,
Because now
yeah.
I'm on legacy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what kind of legacy do you want to leave as a Marine and as a man? What so now you've worn the uniform.
Yes, sir.
You've been places, and we're gonna get into that too, because I always want to hear the places that everybody has traveled to. But you've been places, you've seen things. What legacy do you want to leave for family, for friends, knowing that you sacrificed for this country? What does that legacy look like? Tell us a little bit about it.
I just want everyone to know that they can do whatever it is that they put their mind to,
Mhm.
no matter what your history was before that, no matter what background you came from, no matter what you had, no matter what you didn't have.
Yeah.
Right? There is an opportunity out there for you,
Mhm.
but it's only going to sit out there unless you grab it.
Yeah. Gotta go take that
So you
thing.
you got to go take it.
Mhm.
And that's what I want people to realize when they think about me is go and get it.
Yeah. I
Go and
like
get
that
it.
because you
Yeah.
texted me earlier. What was it? Motivate?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes,
Yeah. I
sir.
was like, different. All right. I like that. I like that
Yes, sir.
though. So tell us some of the places because I do ask everybody so far that we've interviewed because I think it's pretty dope when we talk about like city of Durham. I'm from Pittsburgh, city of Pittsburgh. People think it's a big area. It's not very big at all. And you know your neighborhood, you know your city, but you've traveled. What have you seen during your travels, and what are some of the places that you've traveled to?
All right. So some of the places I've traveled to, I've been to Dubai, I've
Mhm.
been to Norway,
Mhm.
I've been to Japan, I've been to Bahrain,
Mhm.
Greece multiple times,
Mhm.
been to Oman,
Mhm.
which is in Jordan, been to Djibouti, Africa,
Mhm.
been all over the place to be honest.
Yeah.
A lot of different places.
And how did that help your perspective about home? Because when you get a chance to see other cultures and things like that, how does that give you the appreciation of the United States?
Uh it really puts a puts it into perspective, like how good you really have it,
Mhm.
right? Um, some places are less fortunate,
Yeah.
so you got to be proud of where you are, what background you come from,
Mhm.
no matter how it was, right? It could always be worse.
Yeah.
It could always be
Yeah,
worse.
yeah. And so what is it that we don't understand? Because I always like to speak to people who have traveled. I really do. What is it that we also don't understand as far as like our responsibility as American citizens, like to other countries? Because we don't understand what that lens is when people see us. You know what I mean? And so then sometimes there's this gray area of how do we communicate? How do we move? But when you've had to move from country to country to country and have people have this lens, what responsibility did you feel even being able to communicate and understand culturally what someone else is going through?
So I would say the biggest thing is every understanding that we are in this because we want everyone to win. So if you have resources, if you have opportunities, don't hold them to yourself. Like spread the love.
Yeah. That's good. That's a great answer. That wasn't even on the script. I just needed to know that.
That caught me off guard for real. I was
know
like,
it did. That's why I wanted to make sure you knew it wasn't on the script, because
yeah.
I do feel like a lot of people, and especially like myself, I come from a small city in Pittsburgh. So I have been blessed to travel a little bit, but where I have traveled, I'm like, this is a responsibility to carry the United States with you when you're traveling, because people have a lens and an expectation of you, and then sometimes it's a bias, look, and we have to break through these cultural barriers, and you're doing it with a uniform. So, I know that could be kind of tough.
Right.
Yeah. So what is one thing that you want somebody to take from this conversation about you and about the Marines?
That it's not just about putting ranks into the Marines, right? The ultimate goal is to provide opportunities, because the fact of the matter is that, there's different circumstances and everyone doesn't have the same door of opportunity.
Yeah.
So being able to level that playing field and actually give everybody the same opportunities that they may never thought in a million years that they would have.
Yeah.
So being able to even that playing field and make everybody, have the opportunity to be overcome whatever stressors they may have.
So then this community of Durham is the community you're currently serving.
Right.
So what connects you to Durham? Because there has to be a sense of or an idea of community. Like, you got to be able to understand, to be trusted in this community, because Durham is a tough community. Not gonna lie. Like, they are hardworking people, and even me from the outside coming in working in Durham, they give me the, hey man, who are you? So how do you break those walls to even be able to have those conversations, to just normalize just communication?
I would say just leading by example, showing my core values, right? And facilitating trust, showing that, I'm the same person, whether I got this uniform on or I got it off.
Yes.
And being able to just build that trust in the community. And so that way we have no issue.
There we go. Now with parents, this is not on the script either, but it's just a question that I have.
All right.
With parents, a lot of times they ask about education.
Yep.
What are some of the education opportunities inside the Marines, outside of your job, but just like educational opportunities to, continue after high school?
Okay. So that's a good question. I was afforded the opportunity to go to college, right? So a lot of people know about the GI Bill. That's the big benefit that everyone is like, ooh, education.
Yes.
But they don't know about tuition assistance program.
Okay.
So I went to school, got my degree in criminal justice, 100% free, and I was able to save my GI Bill so I can pass that down to my child.
Man.
So as long as you're active duty, you're going to go 100% free.
Yeah.
And you can maintain that GI Bill and pass it off to dependents. You can split it up if you have multiple kids.
Yeah.
But it's going to be free whether you do 4 years or you do 8, 12 or whatever.
Okay. So you're dealing with I'm giving you a scenario.
Yes, sir.
You're dealing with a mom, a single mom, and her only child.
Okay.
And you're in their living room and having this conversation, and she's not necessarily 100% on board.
Okay.
How do you have those difficult conversations? And then how much do you focus on the student, saying like, at this point it's your decision because you're at that age, but how do you have those conversations inside the living room where you see maybe the student is ready, but then the family's still hesitant, and you know that there's going to be that pull?
So one of the biggest questions that we ask is that, is the parent going to be supportive whether you go with this route or this route?
Yeah.
Right. Because at the end of the day, all parents want is for their child to be successful, because that validates their efforts.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, I know 100% that the parents are going to support their kid.
Yeah.
Now, it's ultimately going to be up to the parent if they're 17, right? But all in all, it's just ask the hard questions right up front. Like, a lot of parents are going to ask me, like, is he going to go to war?
Yeah.
I'm going to be 100% honest.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee anything.
Yeah.
But what I can tell you is that, if he or she has to defend themselves, they'll be able to.
Yes.
But only about 20% of the Marine Corps right now has seen combat.
Okay.
So having those hard conversations up front and being able to just tackle those disinterests.
Okay. And let's have a fun question.
Yes, sir.
Who are you once you finally take the uniform off? So when you're at home, tell us a little bit about you outside of the Marines.
Outside of the Marines, who I am, I'm Uncle John. I'm Dad.
Okay.
I'm all these different people. However, I'm the same person.
Yeah.
The same person. So there is not really a huge difference between me in the uniform and me out of it. Ultimately, I know that when I come to work, I'm here to work.
Yeah.
When I go home, I'm there to be home and spend time with my family.
Yeah, absolutely. So how can someone get in contact with you, or what is the best way of contacting the Marines? If they watch this and they're interested and they're from the Durham area, how would they get in contact with you?
So first, you can come to our Instagram page, which is Bull City Marines. If you can't get us on there, you can swing by the office, which is at 1125 NC 54.
Okay.
And if that don't work, you can hit me up directly at 336-692-0393.
Simple. So we want to make sure you have every single aspect, answer, whatever it is that you're looking for. We want to make sure that we can provide that for you. So if you're in the local Durham area, please do not hesitate to hit up Staff Sergeant Williams. But then also, let's say somebody's watching this and this on a national level, because it will be on some national platforms.
Okay.
What would be their course of action?
What would be their course of action?
Yeah.
Just hitting us up. We'll ask a few questions just to make sure that you're eligible. And then the next step would be getting you to the office, getting you on a practice test.
That's it. Wait, let's talk about that test.
Oh, yeah, that's a hard one. It's a hard one. I'm telling you.
So it is a test, though.
It is.
Yes. And that's something as far as transparency, like that people need to know that you have to be prepared for that, correct?
Right.
Yeah. So a little bit about the test. No cheating, though, but a little bit about the test. Tell us a little bit about it.
A little bit about the test, right? It's going to check your mathematical skills. It's going to check vocabulary and your reading and comprehension.
Yeah.
So those are the main ones that determine your qualifying score. And the qualifying score, it just need to be a 31. And it goes up to a 99.
Cool. And are there any physical tests that you should be ready for prior to going to basic training?
Prior to going to basic training, we do what we call a IST, which is an initial strength test. And we're going to check to see how fast you can run 1.5 miles. We're going to see how many pull-ups or push-ups you can do and how long you can last in the plank.
Okay, cool. Do you teach people how to swim, man? Because I can't swim.
Yeah, they call them iron ducks, and they'll teach you how to swim. Okay. And we just changed the age to 41. So hey, if you're 38, come on in there.
So make sure you reach out to Staff Sergeant Williams. We want to make sure we give you every piece of information that we can on the possible recruitment to become a Marine. And just reach out to have a conversation. You never know where it may lead. I am Coach Ken Blocker. Make sure you come to I'm Coach Ken Blocker. Make sure you come to the First and Goal 365. I'm tired, y'all. It's been a long day. First and Goal 365 Jamboree, August 16th. First game starts at 5. Some of the teams that we're going to have there from Durham is going to be Riverside, Hillside, Southern Durham. From our Wake County teams, we're going to have South Garner, Roseville, Wakefield, and New Bern is coming. So I needed to make sure I had everybody there. I don't want anybody to be offended because I left them out. And remember, this is Ken Blocker, First and Goal 365. Don't compare, compete. Peace.